Here on today's video, I have Justin from Link ECU here and his S2000. The reason that we brought this car here is to fit the angle kit once and for all. Believe it or not, this chassis has been one of the most difficult chassis that we've designed a kit for because it's got wide frame rails and narrow track width. All of the arm lengths are significantly shorter than anything that we've seen before, meaning turning the wheel lock to lock, it runs into everything. Headlights, frame rails, control arms, sway bars, you name it, we gotta fix it. And then to add on top of that, Justin's been fitting this kit for probably months. He's been fitting it for months.
Yeah.
And he could probably better iterate what the issues were. But basically, the fenders are also a problem.
Correct, yeah.
Because you can't, so on an angle kit, you just get 50 mil overs, 60 mil overs, whatever, no big deal. They don't make them for these cars. So Justin, add to the list of what the issues were, and then I'll show you the solution that we came up with.
All right, so obviously it's not commonly drifted chassis, so there's just not a lot of readily available parts. So first thing being fenders. So you can't make track width super wide because the most commonly made fender is a plus 30 or plus 35 over. And aside from that, I think there's one that's plus 45 and you have no other options. So makes it difficult as far as keeping the wheel in the wheel well and still being able to add angle without hitting stuff because the car is so small with the narrow frame rails. The other big problem, there's other kits on the market, but they don't allow you to run a good front tire choice. So now I've been running a 35 sidewall 18 tire previously, which is not great on the front of the car. There's no good tire options. And now I finally can run a nice sticky 200 tread wear tire up front and run a 9-inch wide wheel, which is also fantastic. Before you could only run an 8-inch wide wheel, really hard offset to find. And this will make it super easy to be able to find wheels for this kit, be able to put it on the car, buy fenders, and to be able to just go out and drift it. So I went through all the struggles for you guys and them, and I think now it's going to be a sweet product at the end.
All right, so cue the under the car lock to lock that everybody loves. Let's just take a look at this from the side. So this is measuring at, we have to be honest with our viewers, this chassis with these control arms, roughly 35 millimeters longer than stock. We're going to be measuring 56 degrees exactly. This is from the side plane to the wheel plane, measured very accurately. A lot of people are claiming that they're getting 65, 70. After what I show you that we did, you know for sure that they are not getting that. So just gonna be honest with you, I hate to be a heartbreaker. It's like those dynos that...
Mustang dyno.
Yeah, you're not gonna see the numbers that you want, but then tuning, it's always better.
Yep.
It simulates the road resistance. So same deal. The chassis just doesn't really allow for it, but look at this, 56 degrees within the fender with good Ackerman, and more importantly, proper geometry, where we've compensated the roll center correction. We've put the upper underneath the knuckle. I'm gonna pull this wheel off so that you can see with some better light what's going on. All right, so Jack, come here beside me. What we're looking at here is with maybe a light from Kyle. Yes, let's go. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the upper A-arm used to be here. And we've done a little trick where we've threaded this hex adjuster, put sleeves in their place, added long bolts, and we've now moved the upper several inches inward. This is going to give us the wheel clearance that we needed on both sides, where in the simulations and with different wheel specs that we were using, we could still get lots of angle, but you'll easily see on this that the wheel runs into any shape of any arm that you throw in these shackles. It's also a pain in the butt to take them out and adjust them and put them back in, because the bungs had to be on an angle. And when you put the bungs on an angle, it gives you good wheel clearance, but then anytime you adjust them, it makes the mounting points wider and narrower. So you actually can't change the camber. Maybe 1 or 2 turns, but then it's making it wider and it's flexing the mount. So this way, we've got our smooth adjusters. This arm can go in and out for a camber adjustment. You can do your caster adjustment. You can go in on this one, out on this one. You can do all of that without removing the arm. And then to take the arm off, you can just take these off and the whole arm will remove itself while you're leaving these heim joints in place. So everything has become easier.
We are going to move the control arm pickup points from the OEM locations to actually inside. And what we have to do is just cut off these nuts. These captive nuts, I guess they're called. That's where we're gonna put our heim joints. These nuts, they are pretty easy to cut off. You just need to, they're just tacked on 3 parts of the nut. And you just get in there with your little cut-off wheel and try to nick the tacks, and then you just hammer them out. So this is how I take off the nuts. I just thread a little M12 bolt in there and just hammer on the bolt, and it kind of pries the nut away.
Looking at the lower, same deal. We've got our on-car adjustable caster nut here. We do lockout plates for all the points, sway bar pickup points, motion ratio on the coilover, and our full tie rod upgrade that we just didn't plan on doing, but we did it today because we had all of these pieces here. And just to give you guys a reference on the difference of what I said before, it's a narrow car with wide frame rails. This tie rod is 8.5 inches long. We don't use this for anything. My Corvette uses a 13.5 inch tie rod. That's 5 inches longer on each side. So just to give you an example of like how tricky this car was to get angle, that should be a good enough example right there. So far, our only interference point is this sway bar, which he's gonna run it with it. And if he thinks that he needs to run without it, he can remove it. We do have bump stops set up on the knuckle here that you can see. These are going to contact the control arm.
So I'm going to put on the front lower control arm. We pre-installed the OEM ball joint on the bottom, torch it to spec, and also it comes with the 3/4 heim joint in the arm that is torqued down, obviously all the spacers and whatnot. I already had one of the heim joints installed in the car. It makes it easy because with these smooth adjusters, you can just slam the arm on and tighten the adjuster instead of messing with this. So if you put this on first, it is the easiest way to install the arm. So that includes the eccentric lockouts and the spacers, the bolt, and the heim itself.
We'll do the fine tuning that we took a lot of notes today putting this kit on, and we're going to bring this to market with all of Justin's work, fitting it within fenders that are available, because our simulation was like, yeah, every kit needs to get 60 to 70. We had this wheel like out here, and then Justin quickly told us it's not going to work for anything. You'd have to run a trailer fender like connect. Yeah, it just wouldn't work. And then under the back, we have a rear upper that's pretty exciting on how simple it is, but how many problems it solves. So check this out. In Justin's hands, explain what's going on here. You know better than anyone.
Yeah, so unfortunately I've had this upper control arm in the rear take me out of competition a few times now, and it's not so bad replacing the control arm, but when it goes out, it takes out almost everything in the suspension with it, which is the problem, and destroys whatever wheel you have on there. So what's going on is the way that most of the companies make them right now is that they have a Heim joint that's adjusted from here. Well, the problem with this is it puts so much leverage on here that you can see probably here, it starts to bend them, and then eventually it just snaps completely off. And when it snaps off, like I said, it takes out lower control arm.
Cue the video.
Wheel. Yeah, cue the video. I have a good video from Gingerman for that. It's not very confidence inspiring, especially like some of the speeds we're hitting when we're drifting, going to enter a corner and not knowing if your control arm's gonna stay together, and it's a scary feeling. So Josiah luckily came up with this awesome design to fix this problem.
So basically what we had to do is go back to what the factory arm looked like, which is a very stout arm.
Yep.
So when you look at reverse engineering any control arm, you first look at the stock arm and then kind of withdraw all of your strength requirements from that. What they did here was, in some scenarios, this may work fine, but in this particular scenario, it absolutely does not. But the funny thing was, more than just this company did it this way. He's got another brand which did it the same way. And which one? You said this one's already broken the end off?
Correct.
Once?
I broke 2 of these ones, and this one I broke 1, and this is about to be the second one if I would have kept going.
Yeah, this one's about to go. So here is our upper control arm. It has the same smooth adjusters that we use on basically everything now, and a stock ball joint where all of the leverage required is never gonna you're never gonna see a failure here. And our adjustment points are closest to the mounting points on the subframe, so you're gonna see a ton of strength at these 2 points. Once again, we can adjust what would be actually considered as in the rear because caster doesn't exist. We could probably change our bump steer, because if you rotate the knuckle, it's gonna lower the toe arm or raise the toe arm, which is gonna correct bump steer. And I know S2000s have bump steer issues. So you could actually fix your bump steer with our adjustable upper, as well as dial in your camber. Currently we set Justin's up for +1 degree-ish, and there's still room to go in. Dylan has the same uppers on his S2000 running about -3. So these are gonna be an amazing product for road racers and for drifters. Super strong OEM ball joint presses in, made of our high strength alloy steel, using our smooth adjusters. All easily replaceable products and super, super strong.